Well, for the last 20 years, the city of Owensboro has been growing, but for one small stretch of town, it's had to rebuild during that time. Today marks the 20-year anniversary of the tornado that caused millions of dollars in damage and destroyed more than 750 homes. On January 3rd, 2000, 2 schools were directly in the path of a once-in-a-century storm. And in this special report, this is the story of how some teachers had to look beyond their training to lead that day.
Every January the 3rd, I think about it. I mean, I know what happened 20 years ago.
In school, knowing your history is important.
When the warning siren sounded, I rushed to the front door and looked outside.
Not only the good,
I didn't know what I expected to see. Dorothy and Toto, perhaps.
but also the bad. At this school on this day 20 years ago, an F3 tornado was bearing down with still more than 75 students inside.
You hear the roof being pulled off.
Just ripping.
It does sound like a freight train going over a building.
Many of the students' experiences are being remembered, written down 2 decades ago.
My little brother was crying. Hearing and feeling the pressure, I was scared out of my pants.
The vent on our roof was blown off, leaving a 14-inch hole.
My aunt's house was destroyed. It was missing most of the roof.
I could hear Kim sobbing.
My brother, mom, and me hugged and kissed and wondered where my daddy was.
When the mass of destruction was over, Dad and I found my cousin Jake Boswell and then went home. Just like my cousin described, this is exactly where I was 20 years ago, fearing for my life, hunkered down in a hallway when the tornado ripped through this school. But lucky for me, my cousin, and dozens of other students in this school, there was a group of teachers willing to risk their lives to keep us safe.
I can remember just laying on top of the kids and they were moaning, just a moaning sound, and thinking if somebody gets sucked up into this tornado, if somebody gets blown away, I'd rather it be me.
On the anniversary of the storm that almost tore them apart, these educators are still together.
I remember carrying a little girl out on my back because she had lost her shoes.
What was supposed to be an interview brought back memories so vivid, it becomes a conversation.
I just broke down. I didn't know how I felt, but I just knew that we had been through something horrible. Then it just hit me. You know, I could have died too. We all could have.
I found debris. I mean, it was years after you could still open pages of a book and there was like rock from the roof in there, just gravel.
You knew that this was what you had to do.
Yeah.
And we've always been that way through any situation that came along. We've always been that way. We're so tight.
Memories of what happened and at times disturbingly what could have been.
We were so blessed that no one was hurt.
Yes.
I mean, you know, we look back 20 years and we had all this like loss of material things, but just think of what a dark day it would have been if someone had been hurt, a child.
Just down the street, things were equally chaotic at Apollo High School.
One thing I will say, we were flying by the seat of our pants.
The building took a direct hit from the 180-mile-per-hour winds.
That corner of the gym probably saved it from being a much bigger catastrophe. From what the weather experts told us, the tornado hit the top of that gym and took the roof off coming from the southwest, but it caused the tornado to bounce up.
Managing the emergency alongside Principal Dale Stewart that day was Assistant Principal Stan Scott.
It was obvious once we came up to the office up here and the whole domed area was gone.
Not only did the two have to worry about the students at school, Scott was one of the hundreds who saw major damage at home.
Well, we've got this big hole over your bedroom, and we've moved all the furniture out, and we can't find the cat.
Stories from these survivors make them seem strong, but like anything painful, there are scars.
You still think about it. I mean, every time a storm is forecast, it goes through my mind, is it going to be like what we went through 20 years ago?
These educators have often been the ones to teach history.
It just makes that bond stronger.
That's something you're not going to forget.
On this anniversary, they'll be remembered for writing it, and doing so heroically.